At Miami Zone, joining me here for Sports Hip Hop with DJ Mad Max, Live 365, iHeartRadio. Annishka, welcome to the show. How's everything going? How's the new year starting off for you?
What's up? It's good. How about you?
Yeah, it's good. It's can't complain. We're now 9 days into the year. How's the energy feeling?
Um, the energy, I don't know, it's kind of mixy right now because it's like everything that's happening in California right now is
Yeah, it's
kind of
crazy.
devastating and really sad. But then at the same time, it's like I'm grateful to be here. It makes you even more thankful for what you have and the people that are in your life. So I feel mixed right now. So
Have you had the chance throughout your career to go out to LA and make some important connections, or even just know people out there from making the connections online and through mutual people?
yes, I've been to LA a few times, haven't been in a while, but the last few times that I went to LA, I think I had some great experiences. I met some great people, some people that I never thought I was ever going to meet in life. Got to check out some dope studios. Got to link up with writers and kind of just see how the environment or the vibe is, in LA. So it was a really cool experience. And I see why a lot of people go to LA to like work on music, and they sometimes take off.
Absolutely. That's the place to go for a lot of people. And my thoughts and prayers are with everyone in California is it's crazy and devastating, as you said, and I'm still following it and just hope that, the fires cease and then that they can start to recover and build up and get back to where it was. I know it's going to take a lot of time. It's total
Mhm.
destruction and it's crazy that that's how the new year's starting off. But are you
Mhm.
still in Miami right now?
Yes, I'm back and forth Miami and ATL.
Okay, yeah, because I've heard about all your history of just going back and forth with Miami and ATL and just the differences behind it. Do you feel as though that the people in Miami now have your back as far as trying to make connections with DJs? Because when learning about Miami, it's more of they support you when you're on and you're already taken off. So do you notice anything now that they've embraced you?
I don't feel like I haven't been embraced. I feel like the culture overall in Miami has always been like different. It's always any artist coming from out of Miami is going to tell you it's been difficult. You know what I mean? And it takes a community of people to kind of like support one another so that we can evolve and we can be like the biggest on the map. I mean, but Florida in general, Miami artists in general, we are high. So it's not like it's not happening. A lot of the major artists that are coming out right now are doing major things are from the state of Florida. So definitely Florida is repping and doing what they need to do. But as far as like us all working together, I think we could become better. In Atlanta, I just felt like people in the ATL, they have like this system. They have this way of working together. The DJs are like more willing to like take your music, put it on and just support you. And they just like they have their own like independent labels, and they really have their ear to the streets, and they're gonna go and find you if they hear about you and support you and put you on. So that's what I feel like about Atlanta. They have their like they system. That's why so many artists was coming out at a certain period of time, like ATL, ATL, ATL. You know what I mean?
That's the number one hotspot for hip hop. Everyone knows you gotta go to Atlanta now. With you
Hmm.
being out there in Atlanta, do you feel as though they embrace artists that are from outside of Atlanta?
Definitely,
Yeah.
because a lot of the people that's in Atlanta, a lot of them are not even from Atlanta no more. From what I hear from the people that are native ATLians, they really are not really from there for real. Like I talk to people and they're like, "Oh, I'm from Chicago, or I'm from New York, and I'm from." It's a melting pot. But and I guess it's why so much chaos too, because there's so many different people that's there. But overall, I think it's just a mix. But Atlanta does support.
That's great. That's what you need. You need people to support you even when you're from the outside. And it just goes with that theory where people say that they always have to relocate to finally get the respect and to get further
Mhm.
ahead. And I'm hoping that Miami pulls it together and just Florida overall. And I mean, you've had your interactions with a lot of people in this industry. I want to take things from the beginning because you started at a young age, elementary school. You kind of started out. You had this piano that you were right. And what was this piano that you had that you were younger?
I'm like, how does he know that? Okay, you do your work. I'm like, what in the world? What? So there was this piano that I forget who gave it to me, but used to be a piano that the little Casio, I think it might have been piano that was in the house. And so I would try to teach myself how to play the piano. Like um, I wish I was taught or like had some type of way of learning. But I used to like play with the piano, and there were demo buttons on there, and they had like beats. So I would write songs to the beats that were inside of the demo. So probably had like maybe like 4 or 5 different random weird dumbass beats. I'm sorry. Can I cuss? But yes, so weird beats that's on there, and I just would write. And I would just write. And I just had like this composition book or just sheets of paper that I would keep in my dresser drawer of all these songs that I just wrote.
And stories were on this composition book too. Was these stories more, was it just straight music? Because I know acting something that you want to get into. How about writing? Was it something more of even just not even just music, but like poetry and just stories as far as like movie storylines, short stories, things like that in the composition book?
In the composition book, it was just a mixture of just, I guess, my ideas. I was a kid, so I didn't know what I was doing. I'm quite sure it didn't make no sense, but I just like wrote. I guess that was the knack at the time, and I didn't know, so I just would just write and write. And then I had this teacher who would pretty much make us right at the end of class all the time. So I feel like that helped as well. But at that time, when I did start writing, I didn't have, I feel like the influence of a teacher or anybody that made me do it. I think I was just doing it just to create the songs. I was just trying it out.
What performance of Michael Jackson was it that drew you in that you remember?
Oh my gosh. So Michael Jackson is my favorite artist. So I think I can't tell you what performance because as a kid, I remember they used to have like marathons and like I was at one of my aunt's house and she would just have Michael Jackson on all day. So I just remember being at her house and just being like falling in love with Michael Jackson, watching all the TV shows, watching all the videos, and wanting to know more about him, who he was. That's when I fell in love with Michael Jackson. It was at her house. That it was it was at her house. I forgot where she lived at. Where she lived at? I forgot where she lived at. She stayed down the street from Coco's. I just remember I used to be in there at her house all the time, and I would just love Michael, and she knew I loved Michael, so she would put him on like every time. So
What's your
that's how.
favorite album from Michael Jackson? Is it
Oh
Thriller?
my god! I don't think I have a favorite album. I guess you could say Thriller because that's like the biggest one. I love everything Michael. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the goat right there.
yeah,
Did you ever get to
for
see his
sure.
performance with Jay-Z at Summer Jam when he brought him out? It wasn't really performance, he just brought him out on stage. You ever see that footage?
Mm-mm. I
Wow,
didn't even
yeah.
know that. I'm tripping. I probably did. Don't realize it, but no. Jay
Yeah.
Z and Michael Jackson. Okay, no. That's what's up. I remember Jay Z and Beyonce, and I think it was Destiny's Child or something, or was it just Beyonce by herself? I remember that, like when they did a tribute to him. But Jay Z, no, I don't remember Jay Z.
That's right. Yeah, back in I think it was 2001, the Summer Jam. He brought him back out, brought him out on stage, and people were just like, "Wow!" And you just look at how iconic that was and a piece of
Gotta
hip
go
hop
find that.
history for Michael Jackson. Because Michael Jackson embraced hip hop, and you're
Mhm.
someone that's all well rounded, even doing pop. Because your song, "The Drug," we're gonna get into the story of this, but that's labeled pop, so you could do pop music. So what lane do you really? I mean, I really don't want to put you in a box, but what's something that you
Yeah.
really want to get into the lane of as far as genre wise in music, as far as taking it to the next step? Because I feel as though you could do it in hip hop, uh, R&B, and pop.
Well, I think as a kid, it was more so R&B. Then I got into hip hop. And then, of course, pop became like a big thing. So I transitioned into the pop, but more so like writing. That's how I got into the pop, and that's how I got into that record, The Drug. It wasn't really my record. It was a record that I wrote with the producer, and it was really supposed to be for Rihanna. So I wrote that record. I think I wrote another record before that, and I think he had a meeting, and he said they wanted something else, like they wanted more. And so I created the next record, which was The Drug. But I don't know what happened when I don't know. I think the meeting didn't get a chance to happen or something like that. So yeah, but other people heard the record, and when I tell them that's who the reference was for, and they were like, "Oh, it fits her." I wish Riri would have sang that song. I just would have changed my life.
It could still happen. That's big that you were even getting into
If
like a
Rihanna decided to
question
get
mode.
in the studio and record an album,
Yeah. Is this something else that you want to do as well, right? For other artists? Because I know you used to do a lot of reference tracks when you first started out.
um, I mean, if it happens, it happens. There's certain things that, creatively that I create as a songwriter. I hear a beat and I like it. And if it's not for me and it's dope for somebody else, then why not? So I don't object to it. In the beginning, I was kind of hesitant because I didn't know, you know what I mean? Being from a little girl that's creating her own stuff and putting her own ideas together, you really don't know if your stuff is good. So I was really, really shy um, about my creativity and my work. And then when I started to kind of like step out, I kind of like got a little bit more confidence because people liked it. So I mean, writing was a thing that I did try for like I think like 2 years. Like I fell off of like me focusing on me being an artist. It was just more so like, okay, let me try the writing stuff. And it's very hard because it's like you gotta hope you're gonna get a placement. You gotta hope that you the person who's not signed to a label, like they're gonna pick your record versus who they already got signed. So it's like stuff that I learned. And I was just like, it's a smaller chance of this getting picked up. But hey, you still gotta have faith. You know what I mean? So
You do. That's the main thing. Gotta have faith in this industry because you never know all the testaments and trials that you're gonna go through. It's a lot, and you had it was difficult for you early on as far as like breaking in. Just as a female artist, do you feel as though those boundaries are kind of being lifted a little bit more now that we're seeing more? Because hip hop is basically female dominant right now when you look at it. So do you feel as though the barriers lifting?
shouts out to the ladies in the hip hop industry that's doing their thing that have definitely paved the way and have broken the barrier because all these female artists out right now is crazy. It was unheard of. They say we're too expensive, we're too this, we're too that. They didn't want to deal with us. But I think back then it was harder because they only wanted, one or two girls, if that, the it girls, the focus. So it was a lot harder. And I think it's a lot easier now because you have social media. So you can kind of put yourself out there, but then it's still a little bit hard too because you have to find and navigate through all the extra stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, you're not going to stand out as much because it's just so much distraction. It's just so much music. It's just so many people online doing content, and everybody's attention span is really short now. So you have to really do something really crazy or really dope for them to be like, oh, I like that. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a benefit, but then it's like there's the pros and the cons. But at least we got something.
Yeah.
We got an outlet to get our voices out there. So yes, I say it's better. Mhm.
What was it that really started to get you on the road? Because there was a story in doing the research that you were with this male hip hop group in the studio. They told you to come and record. Was that kind of one of the first things that really put you on the road to recording?
Yo, so yeah, that was one of my first like studio experiences. It was the group of boys that I used to rap with. They invited me to the studio. Like I said before, I was really, really shy. And my homeboy Creep, he was just like, we're looking for a singer or something. And I was just like, oh, okay. And I was like, he was like, you think you could sing or something? I said, I think, but you gotta let me know if I could sing. So I remember singing him a song, and he was like, and I made him turn around. I ain't let him like look at me, and I sung the song. And then when I sung the song, he was like, "Yeah, come to the studio, and come record." And I think he gave me like a beat or something, and he was like, "Can you rap?" I don't know. Next thing I know, I was in the studio, and it was like a room full of boys in there. I think I was like the only girl. 'Cause I think I was the only girl in the studio, so I was really, really nervous. And again, I made everybody turn around so I could rap my verse. So I rapped my verse. After I rapped my verse, all the boys went crazy. And I was like, oh shit, like, oh, they went crazy. And I was just like, okay, y'all like it. Y'all like it. And it was like, you keep going, you should keep, rapping and doing music. And so, yeah, that was my first experience of actually being in the studio. And yeah, shouts out to Creed.
Shout out to him. So from there, from that point, what was the next event and that basically took you off to kind of get you on the path to where you're on now? What were those first big steps that you took?
I think after the studio session, we started working together and doing music, and then I had my first big show. And in my first big show, I opened up. The group actually opened up for Trina, so that was like our first like big moment. Um, it was good and bad because a fight broke out at the club. But that was like my first like major experience opening up for like a major artist. Then I just kind of navigated my own way. Like I just was like, I want to keep going. I think the hardest part for me at the time was finding good beats. Like that was like the biggest obstacle because it was like I wanted to record, but I had nothing to record on. And then I couldn't really find good producers because the producers that I did know, I thought they were dope. But then when I started getting in front of people that were in the industry and I would play, them my records, they would say, oh, it sounds dated, it sounds this. And I was like, what does dated mean? And I didn't understand. And then I had to really start like, listening. So I had to start, creating or developing that ear for music and what they were talking about. So once I started to, have the ear for music, I was just like really listening to the producers who brought me stuff or gave me stuff, and I was just like, that ain't it, that ain't it. And they would, think I'm just being I'm being rude or whatever, trying to keep it clean. I just kept going until finally I feel like time went on where producers actually got better and I started running into more professional people. But those people were like trying to work with bigger artists. So it was, they didn't really want to take you seriously because, you're up and coming. Why would they want to waste a beat with you when they're trying to get the major artists and they're trying to get the placement or get paid from the label versus you as the indie? So now we have so many other platforms where producers can put their music, whether it's YouTube, BeStars, all these different places, which I love because at that time it was just so hard. I feel like there were a lot of beat makers. There weren't a lot of producers. So I'm very finicky about, okay, cool, you made a beat, but can you produce? Like, do you know how to structure the beat? Do you know how to make changes without, can you take the critiques? Can you make the changes? Is it going to be difficult for you? Can you understand where I'm coming from? Like, so I respect the producers, beat makers, hey, but I respect a producer that knows what he's doing and can bring out the best out of you as an artist or a songwriter. So
That's important, and it's tough because you mentioned that there's a lot of people that are looking for the real big artists and are working with the people that are already on. So, what would you say are some of the DJs that you were able to meet and that support you that you noticed that really care about the culture down there and just as far as music, they really care because a lot of it's payola. Because I've heard you say in just different interviews that there's a lot of DJs that just it's you got to have a back. It's so important to be an artist because a lot of it's payola and it's more of they treat it as a 9 to 5. So what were some of those DJs that actually care about the music and saw talent from you?
oh my gosh. I feel like it's a few of them. Let me put me on blast. Shouts out to oh my gosh. Let me see. Shouts out to Serato. Um Serato Kid for sure. I definitely feel like he's one of the people that's in Broward that really supports artists. Um, oh my gosh, I'm going blank right now. Shouts out to DJ Lucky C. Shouts out to oh my gosh, I'm going blank. Who can I think of? Who can I think? Oh, Samo, DJ Samo in Atlanta. Um, Shout out to DJ Infamous in Atlanta. He was one of the first DJs I feel like. Oh, and X Rated too. He had my record, and I think I sent it to him. He didn't know, like, and he's in Atlanta too. He didn't know that it was my record. He came to me one day. He was like, "Yo, I didn't know this was on my playlist." He was like, "I love this song," and he just was playing and playing in the club, just showing love. And I appreciate and respect him. DJ Infamous, my cousin actually walked up to him in the club, and she was like, "I'm finna get that man your music." And I was like, "Girl, don't do that. That man is DJing." And she was like, "I'm finna go up there." I said, "Okay, whatever, girl." She went up there, and he stopped the whole entire club, and he played my record. He played it back to back to back to back, and he just showed love. And I was just like, "Oh my gosh, it's crazy." But Florida. So shouts out to DJ Serato, Dr. Doom, um, Shism, um, my gosh, my Daytona DJ. Red. Um, who else? DJ Ha, of course. Why am I going blank right now? Mr. Um, who else? I think that's all I can think of for right now.
There we
That
go.
shows up.
Those are the DJs
I'm
that
going
are,
blank.
those are the DJs that are important out there that are really supporting the talent and that take the music seriously. And we need those DJs because that's what really is gonna lead to the growth and evolution of music and just keep it growing to where it started from, and just getting out there and just being all around the cities. And what would you say besides Miami and Atlanta that you want to tap into? Is it because you mentioned you had a great time out in LA? How about New York? There's some other places like New York or even Houston that you want to tap into more?
New York was a vibe. I think the first time I went to New York, and actually I've been to New York a few times. When I went up there and I brought up my music, I remember just going to the club with my friend and gave him the record, and it wasn't no extra PS. It wasn't no politics. It was like the DJ put the music on. Like you ain't had to sit up there and wait for no hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Like they played the music, and if they liked it, they added to their playlist. So shouts out to New York. That's how it was like when I traveled, I just started to notice that we have resistance here in Florida. Get what I'm saying? Versus other states where they're a little bit more supportive. And that's these are my real experiences. And I was just like blown away. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, damn, is it because I'm from another, state that they're showing love like this, or is it just this is what it is? But yeah, shouts out to New York. They were dope when I went to New York. Get them out.
This Trina performance, was this for her birthday or was that a separate one?
Um, I performed at an event. I think it was Trina's birthday, and then the first one, I don't know if it was her birthday. I don't remember. It was like a minute, like a long time ago. That was like my first like big opening act show. I don't know what it was for, to be honest with you, but I think there was a show that I did. I think it was around her birthday month. I don't know if it was her actual birthday, but I do remember her birthday being around that time period. Yeah.
What was it like just talking with her? Because and just me learning about you, you got to have a conversation with her. What was that important advice that she gave you?
You are so good, God. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I had performed at the event, and she had called me over, and I was like, oh snap. So I'm like, okay. And I remember just sitting next to her, and she was just so sweet. Her energy was just so beautiful. And I met her a few times, but that was the first time like I actually got to sit down and like speak to her. Like she's looking at me, I'm looking at her, she's talking to me, and like she's really like talking to me. And I'm just like, I'm explaining to her, like, yeah, I do music. And she was asking me like where I'm from, and then I was told that she had wanted to work with me on one of the records that I had, but it didn't transpire. I don't think it was more so on her. I think it was whoever was trying to put together. But she just really just uplifted me. She really was just showing support and love, and that's why I can't. When I see the negative stuff people try to say, I'm like, nah, Trina's a girl's girl. Like you can't really say that she's not a girl's girl. Like she really is a girl's girl. She showed me love and support. She didn't have to. She didn't have to speak to me. She ain't had to tell me to come to her section. She could have just saw me perform and that could have been it. But no, she invited me over. She spoke to me. She talked to me. She took the time out, and she was just an absolute sweetheart. That's that.
Wow. I'm not surprised, but I'm especially not surprised about people, the criticism, because that's just how people are. They're always trying to bring people into the negative space. You also
Mhm.
met Trick Daddy. How was your meeting with Trick Daddy?
Did I meet Trick Daddy? No, I have met Trick, but I haven't like well, I've met him and spoken to him, but I ain't had no conversation with him like that. So I feel like I have met him a few times, but I've never had no conversation with him like I did with her. But no,
Okay.
but I met him. He's
It
funny.
was more in depth with Trina.
Yeah, it was a little bit more of a conversation. But him, I've met him a few times. He's funny. He's a funny man. Y'all know. It's crazy.
Yeah,
He is so.
especially when we look at just like the criticisms, because you talked about, you mentioned the Trina with the negativity. There's a lot of negativity, especially when you're getting your start as an artist. There were
Mhm.
people saying that you had to choose between a singer and being a hip hop artist, a rapper. So, why do you think people are like that in a way? Because you hear criticisms about people who do that in early in their career as well. Why do you think people want you to choose between the two?
At that time, I was a kid, so I was like a kid, and I was trying to figure out if I wanted to sing or rap. And at the time, the person's studio, it was an engineer or something. He had his own studio, and my uncle used to take me to his studio, and he was just like, I think you. He was like telling me I need to either just sing or just rap, and I was just like, nah, I want to do both. And he was just like, no, you got to do one. I said, why I can't do both? Like, what's wrong with that? And and I just was thinking about people that I knew that were like, I felt like were super duper dope. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about Lauryn Hill. I'm thinking about Missy Elliott. I'm thinking about the groups like TLC. I'm just thinking about all these people, influential people that, intertwined, like singing and rapping, and it became a part of who they were. Like they were very successful artists. And why can't I do it? If I can, why not? So I remember saying to him and to other people, I said, "This gonna be the wave. This gonna be the future. People gonna be singing and rapping. You know what I mean? It's only gonna be a select few. It ain't gonna be everybody. You know what I mean? That can master it. And then like later on down the line, there was the Drake, there was the Minaj's. You get what I'm saying? And what I said came to pass. Like you know what I mean with other artists. So I knew at the time to not listen to what a person says to me. You're gonna take critiques and criticism, whatever. But I just felt like in my heart, like I'm not gonna listen to this man. Like you don't know what he's talking about. That's how I felt, and I'm glad I didn't choose.
Exactly, because we see how it's been successful for you. And I like this song "Expensive." I think that's a top record right there. I noticed that one was that got a lot of play.
Yeah, people like that record. I think at that time when I made that, I was still trying to figure out like how can I make a record that the DJs would play that could go on radio. Like I was trying to figure it out, as a writer and wanting people to take me serious. So I put that record together and I got a good response from that record. I originally wanted in my mind Future to sing the hook. So I tried to get one of my friends, One Hot, to do it. Because he's on the background. If you listen, you can hear him in the background because he has like that really like deep man voice. So yeah, that's how that record came about.
You want to work with Missy Elliott and Kanye. If you were to get into a session with Kanye, what's the album that you're a fan of his that you would be aiming for to kind of make that sound? Would it be like a College Dropout, Late Registration? What's your Kanye album that you would, if you had to get in that session with him, that I want it to be like this?
To be honest, I probably wanted to sign any of his albums. I remember listening to the Pablo album and being like blown away. I remember like laying in my bed, headphones on, and I was like, what the? I was like, what the? Like, this is crazy. I was like, Kanye's a genius. Like, what the? Right? And I feel like every album or every project he puts together, he just evolves. It just becomes like, better and better. So I wouldn't want him to sound like nothing but his current self or his new vibe that he's on. So I would be like, I would just sit back and let him do his thing. Like, okay, what are we doing? What do you feel like is the vibe for this record? Like, because he's not staying in place. He's moving to the future. He's in the future. So he's just a genius and incredible talent. So whatever kind you want to do musically, let's get into it. Like I'm not.
Yeah, you're on his
Just sounds
time.
like yeah, like, here's time. Whatever you feel like, let's go
Yeah, he's
for sure.
Vultures 2 was the most recent release, so we're gonna see what is gonna be the new timing for Kanye, and let's manifest that you're on that time with him as well. Who's
Yeah.
a newer artist besides that you want to work with that's kind of just new and emerging?
New and emerging. I feel like I don't have like a certain type of person. So I'm just like open to work with whoever is putting in the actual work. There's so many dope, incredible artists male and female that are like doing their thing. So it's like it's an open book for me. You know what I mean? It's open. I definitely probably would want to collaborate with a female artist and just like go in, just have a good time. So yeah, girl power type stuff. But other than that, whoever.
How's the update on the acting? Because that's something that you want to do, and I mentioned that earlier. So how's the update on that? Is that something that you're gonna look into this year?
Yes, I actually had did I was actually supposed to be in a movie last year, but
Wow.
I was actually supposed to be in this movie last year. I was actually one of the main characters. But last minute they switched. But
Oh,
I did do a cameo, I guess, in another movie that I did. It's an independent film. I'll post it because I gotta check on it. But I'll post it that I did. So yes, I definitely want to get into more acting. Trying to figure out who I need to tap into so I can just kind of like just take a run on it and just really like dive in and really like try it out. I feel like I would be really dope at it, given the right parts. Yes, I'm looking forward to doing it in the future for sure.
what are some parts that you want to play?
I want to do some action. I want to be the villain. I want to be like, I guess like a superhero. I feel like I have so many different type of personalities and characters that I could probably like do. I think I'm just like open to whatever. You know what I mean? I just want to do, I think as you get into acting and I'm being that I am an artist, it's like I just want to do the best that I can possibly do. I want to put my best foot forward and I just want to eat. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to, I don't take it for granted or take it as a joke. Like, I'm very serious when it comes to anything that I do, especially my work, especially acting. I feel like you have to be in a certain space mentally to do it. So I feel like, yeah, I want to do them all. I want to play the villain. I want to play the superhero. I want to be in one of those medieval time movies. Hello. I play a cartoon character, voiceover, whatever. I just want to do it and have fun and be like,
Yeah, stay
did
open
something.
minded.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm open to whatever. And an action hero, like I want to. What's that girl that played in like I forget her name. She played in Colombiana, something like that.
Okay.
I think it'll be fun. Um, yeah, whatever. I'm
Yeah.
open. Mhm.
That's the main thing, and I'm sure those roles will be coming soon. How about fashion? Because I was reading on some things online that you're in the fashion. There's just something that you want to get into as far as your own product placement, just
Mhm.
product line and merchandise and things like that.
I don't know where to get this information. He is good, y'all. He is really, really good.
Oh, thank you.
um, he has me like throw like that's why I feel like I'm drawing blanks. Um, but yes, I do want to create my own products. I do want to not necessarily create my own line of like clothing, but I am into fashion and stuff like that. If I ever get an opportunity and a chance to do something creative in the sense of just fashion, I would love to do it. And of course, like I said, create products that I would possibly not possibly, but things that I would use on an everyday basis. That are real to me. Like I don't want to be a part of anything that I don't use that's not genuine, that's fake. You know what I mean? Like I really have some type of experience, whether it's makeup, skincare, hair products, whatever it is. I just want it to be something that's in line with who I am, that represents me and represents the girls that are going to support it.
That's
Or guys.
important. Got to stay
Yeah,
authentic.
yeah, very much so authentic.
So, what does your name mean? Is there a meaning to your name? I know that your father just gave it to you, and your mother wanted it to be something different. Does it have like a meaning behind it?
I am gagged. Yes. So I looked up my name a while, like a long time ago, and the only thing I could really find was highly favored was the meaning, with my name. So I'm taking that and going to run because I'm thankful, I'm grateful, and thank you, God. Yes. Amen. So that's what I found for my name. And yes, you are right. My mom wanted to name me something else, and that's the name that my dad pushed for.
And it works because you look at. artists prior that were in and still in it because Aaliyah passed away, but she's a legend and
Mhm.
she had a meaning behind her name. It's just those one-liners, even Ashanti, just those one-liner names, they work.
Mhm. Yes, and you know what? As a kid, I used to be like, "Why is my name so long?" But at the same time, like only because people couldn't pronounce it. Like I always had to repeat myself. I think that kind of annoyed me. But then, as I grew older, I was just like you said, Ashanti and Leah. I just said to myself, "I have a unique name, and I love my name. I think it's beautiful. I'm not running into people that have the same name as me. I'm different, and that's who I am. So I definitely embrace my name. I love my name.
Yeah.
Annishka.
It's important. It's working for you
Yeah.
this far. That's the main thing, and it's gonna really blossom. What's next for you as far as the music releases now? Because what was the newest record? It was I Just Want the Money. Was that the newest one? Because I saw the visual for that on YouTube.
Yes, I'm definitely going hard. I just want the money. The DJs have been showing love and support. They really love the record. So it's like I need to get out there and like put it out more. So any DJs that like the song, make sure you tap it with me so I can send you a DJ pack. But for the most part, yes. I just want the money is the record I'm pushing. Yes, 2025. That's what we want.
That's
It's
the
like,
one.
mhm.
What's the update? Cause is the Precious Baby mixtape out? Is that going to be something that you're releasing soon? I heard about this years prior, but did you ever get to release that, or is that something that's still in the works?
Um, I have not released that. I don't think no, but I do definitely want to put together a project. Don't know if it's going to be still named that, but I definitely want to put a project together in the near future. So I'm definitely still looking for records. So producers hit me up. I'm always looking for something hot. So yeah, be on the lookout for that because I'm battling if I want to continue to release singles or if I want to put a project together.
That's the main thing.
Another one.
As far as the next, what's the next single? Are you already planning the next single?
Um, yes, we actually just wrote it the other day. I'm behind on like two more records I gotta finish writing. Um, but yeah, I just wrote a record the other day, and I feel like it might be my next single. So let's see when I get it back.
Oh,
Yeah,
is
see.
it going to be pop, R&B, hip hop? What's it going to be?
um, it's gonna feel good.
Going to feel.
It's gonna feel real good because it makes me feel good when I hear it. So yeah, it's gonna make you feel good. I feel like it's a balance of R&B hip hop.
I
I'm gonna give
like
you
that.
that. I'm gonna give you that, but I'm gonna give you that for sure.
What are some performances that you do? Or is there going to be something that you have lined up soon? I know Rolling Loud is going to be big. That's always big. Is that something that you're looking to tap into this year?
I don't know. I Rolling Loud. But you know what? I feel like I do some more work to get on Rolling Loud. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna be one of those artists be like, "Oh, put me on." Da, da, da. I feel like I need to put in some more work. But once I put in this work, yeah, y'all need to put me on there for sure. I would appreciate it. But yeah, performances definitely coming up. Festivals, events coming up. I will be coming to a city near you. You never know. Might be putting a little tour together to reach the people. So yeah, stay tuned. Stay tapped in.
How
Holla
about
at
how about label deals? Is that something that you're looking for?
I feel like if it's the right situation, yes. But until then, I'm really just leaning more towards being an independent artist. But if the situation is right and it makes sense, then why not?
Yeah.
For sure.
How about because you're from Miami? Are you into the Miami sports scene with the Heat and the Dolphins and things like that?
Well, I'm definitely a Heat fan. I'm all right, y'all. I'm a Dolphin fan. I have to be. I can't I can't bash the Dolphins. Shout out to the Dolphins. One day we will be back on top. That's what we tell ourselves all the time. We will be back one day. So shout out to the Miami Dolphins for
Yeah,
sure.
I don't understand it because I look at their star players. Jimmy Butler wants to leave the Heat, and Tyreek Hill wants to leave the Dolphins. I don't know what's going on in Miami with the sports teams, but everyone wants to leave.
I don't know why they want to leave Tyreek and what's his name.
Jimmy Butler.
There's no better weather. There's no better place. Jimmy Butler. There's no better place, and they know that. Once they leave, they're gonna come back. So So, think about it.
Exactly.
For sure.
The weather is what counts.
Yes, the weather is for sure. The weather plays a big, big part. I mean, yeah, y'all do y'all job, but mentally to create that environment and space where you can feel like you could work and like, feel great about life every day. Yeah, Miami's the place for sure.
That's one of the places for sure. Because you did some sports when you were younger, cheerleading. You were doing some cheerleading work when you were younger, but you didn't like track. You had a chance in track.
You said track,
Yeah,
running track?
yeah. Because I heard that you tried it, but you didn't like it.
Oh my gosh, this is like a hour. So, okay, listen. Okay, so yeah, I tried to do track, but it just wasn't for me. I'm not into just running around. I'm like, it's just not for me. I feel like I've tried like different sports to kind of like figure out what's for me. I tried playing basketball. I did cheerleading. I tried the track thing. I tried flag football. I kind of enjoyed it. Flag football was kind of fun. But yeah, it was more so like cheerleading. I was a cheerleader for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Your sport is art, is music. That's your sport.
Yes, that's my real sport. That's my real. Yes.
That's where it's at. How did you get connected with Al Nice? How did you get to make that connection?
Um, Actually, I heard of El Nice like back in the day, like, people had, brought his name up. I have, friends that I know that know him. Shouts out to 1128 group. Shouts out to Kenny. um, and just people that I know along the way that, have worked with him. Actually went to an event and finally got a chance to like link up with him. One of his events called, I think it's called Pull Up and Play.
That's
And
it.
yeah, and yeah, we just tapped in and started putting in work for sure. Shouts out to El Nice.
Shout out to him for sure. Besides Al Nice, what are some? Because I mean, you've spoken with Trina, you've been in some big places. So what are some other important connections that you've made?
Oh my gosh. I feel like the connections that I really made were like in like environments where like it was like a studio setting, where I kind of like pretty much walked in maybe in a session or other people walked into my session, that I was a part of, and that's how it kind of like happened. So like studios are definitely like a melting spot where you're gonna meet other people that's working. So be where everybody's working and make sure that you're coming to work and not to play. And I think you'll make your connections, especially if you have like if you're a good writer and you've got projects that you could let people like listen to. I feel like even though I didn't get where I wanted to get to with the writing, I felt like I still had reference records, so I could show my versatility. Like, hey, I could write a pop record, I could write a hip hop and R&B record. And I just will let people just hear my talent, because of course I'm an artist, I have a certain sound. It was great to have that catalog or body of work that I could just show my versatility. So, yeah, studio sessions, I would just walk in and certain people were there, and I got to showcase my music and tap in with people. I mean, I feel like it's a list of people like I feel like I met in the studio. I don't feel like name dropping, but but yes, I definitely met a lot of different people that I didn't think I would meet in the studio for sure.
Especially going to Atlanta. When you first got out there, you were seeing all kinds of celebrities right away.
Yeah, when I first came to Atlanta, it was like the first 2, 3 days, I was like seeing celebrities, whether it was at the Waffle House, the mall, it didn't matter where I was. I just felt like they just were just there, and I was just like, oh, everyone's here. Like it ain't. I was like, okay, it wasn't like a unusual type of thing. I think the first person I seen, I was at the Waffle House, and I think it was Lucci and his whole entourage. Like they were just outside. The whole entourage just came inside. Everybody was ordering food, and I was just like, oh, okay, this what it is. I remember seeing the Stabs at the mall. Um, I remember like seeing like up and coming artists, that were like I feel like bubbling in Atlanta that people knew of, as well as major artists. Like I feel like I've seen every major artist by being in Atlanta. Like I've met other people in Miami, but I feel like I probably met more in Atlanta for sure. Like I've seen everybody. Cardi B, Santana, Drake. I said everybody, like everybody, Devontae, everybody in ATL, athletes, like everybody.
Everyone.
Everybody comes to Atlanta to play for sure.
Would you say this is this time right now for you? Because we talked about it earlier with the content creator and just living in the attention span now where everything's so quick. Do you feel as though it's an encouraging time or a discouraging time for artists, especially just when we look at it from your perspective? Because I feel as though you're someone that likes to take time with your record. So is it kind of discouraging, or you kind of just keep focused on what you're how you're going to do things as far as releasing and creating records?
I feel like I feel like personally, I try not to let that type of stuff beat me down, right? I feel like, baby, you are in your own race. What are you rushing for? You get what I'm saying? Because either day gone tomorrow, that's what it is. You get what I'm saying? If you're not consistent and if you don't have good quality work, then what's the point? You know what I mean? The people that are just like throwing things out, a lot of the times the stuff is not even that great. You get what I'm saying? That's why I said
True.
the whole filtering of and navigating through all the BS of the dope artists trying to get through all the noise of whoever that's just throwing out stuff every day. So it makes it harder to kind of like be noticed or seen or people to even like sit with records because they're just going in and out every second. So I feel like content is content. Go ahead and do it. But they tell you what content too. Don't just throw out anything or post anything. Post good quality content. Post or put out great quality music too. So yeah, I think that's very important. Great. Put your content, don't kill yourself. Do the best that you can and go at your own pace. Don't take all day, but go at your own pace.
I agree. That's what you have to do. There's a lot of garbage out there, unfortunately, but because everyone and their brother wants to get some clout. But we could see who's real. You could just tell by looking at the Instagram. We could see who's real and just listening to the music. I think it all comes down to that. If you listen to
Mhm.
the music, but unfortunately, there's some garbage on the charts that's supporting the industry. It is what it is, and we still have to work around that and really support the real talent that's out here. But it's we live in a time now where it's like garbage is accepted and praised. That's where we kind of have to get away from. We need to really support artists who put effort in because I just feel as though where's the effort coming in from a lot of these new artists and just people who are on the charts. Not everyone, but a lot of them. It's
Mhm.
sad.
For sure. For
It
sure. For
definitely
sure.
is. What are some of the goals here for? As we just started the new year. I'm not even going to go into what's your goal for the year. So, what is the goal for the first quarter of the year? Let's take it step by step, living in the moment.
Like everybody would ask me that. What are my goals for this year? My goal definitely for this year is to definitely become closer to God and to continue to be grounded. I think people get lost in the space and losing themselves and what's important. So I, definitely want to put like, better songs and better records and better projects together. Quality is very important to me. I don't care how many times I can record it over and over again. I'm gonna do that just because that's who I am. I have records that I recorded and never put out because I wasn't happy with it, and that's cool. You know what I mean? Because it's important to be happy with your work. Like, don't force yourself to do something that you're not comfortable with. Um, I think being a little bit more, I feel like, I guess, more patient, no procrastination. Um, yeah, I definitely want to put together, like I said, more records or a dope project for the upcoming future. So, I mean, yeah, I want to get done the records that I have right now for the first quarter, and then we'll go from there. And like I said, I want to be out there doing a little tour. So y'all tap in for that.
That's big, and it'll be happening soon. Anishka, is there
Yes.
anything else you'd love to let your fans know, the audience out there know that we didn't talk about tonight?
Um, I want them to know, make sure that you don't give up on yourself. Make sure that you live your dreams every day. I don't care how big or small they are. It's never too late to do what you love. And I want them to know that I appreciate you, DJ Mad Max, for having me on your platform. I
Of course.
thank you for being a great journalist at the
Oh, thank
same
you.
time because y'all, he had me gagged, asking me questions that I felt like, did I talk to him about this? Never talked to this man about this stuff. Where did he find this stuff? Um, but he's definitely on his for real. But I appreciate you. I hope that you have a wonderful, prosperous new year and everything that you dream about or want in life comes to pass. And to everybody out there, like I said, keep doing you, keep God first, and everything's going to roll into place.
Absolutely. Thank you, Anishka. That means a lot. And you too, keep going. And I know you're going to have those hit records on the way, especially with the songwriting. I checked out all your work. So you're one of the ones, as people say.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Of course, I'm wishing you a healthy, prosperous new year. And I know it's going to be fulfilling for sure. It's going to be a big step. I could tell. I think you're ready. You're ready to go out there, get on the tour, and acting. There's a lot that you want to do. And I feel as though this is the year to really kick things in gear.
Yes, the year that's gonna happen, 2025. We live. Let's do.
Absolutely. And let them know where they can follow you on Instagram, X, all the platforms.
Okay. On all the platforms, you can follow me at Anishka Music. That's ANNISHKA Music. I feel like TikTok is just Anishka. I think I changed it. It might be Anishka Music, but everything else is Anishka Music. ANNISHKA Music.
Make sure you give her a follow, stay tapped in. Make sure you check out all the new music. You can check it out on the YouTube. I just want the money. That's a new visual out now. Make sure you go tap in with that. Shout out to L Nice for getting us set up here, connected, and for this interview. And
Yeah,
we're
shouts
locked
out
in.
to El Nice.
Shout out to
For sure,
him.
for sure. Shouts out to El Nice.
Yeah. Anishka, thank you for coming on the show. I had a great time. Enjoy the
Mhm.
rest of your night, and you're always welcome back on the show.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Be safe.
You too. Thank you. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye bye.